Gotta wake up, do some jumping jacks. Hope you folks are doing good where you're at. Let's get a look here. Get a live look in here at YouTube. Make sure we've got audio. We do. We got a good audio feed. We got a good video feed. It's fantastic. It's another lovely Monday. Hope you're doing well where you're at. Just waiting on CouchBot to fire over in the new Pragmatic Discord channel. If you don't have access to the Discord channel, you can look in the description on any of the new Pragmatic videos, and you will find it there. I should add that link into the live stream. I've got to figure out how to update that. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I messed with the live stream. Mainly, I mess with the live stream settings when they mess up and change the. Oh, well, I could probably edit it right there. So maybe I'll go back through and do that later. But the good news is that ye old CouchBot has fired, and we are 10 followers away from tacking on another 1,000 to the list. So I'm super excited about that. If you're catching up, actually, you know what? The funny thing is, I could tell you, hey, you should subscribe. But if you're currently viewing this, you're already subscribed. So I'll add that in as a mention for the edit, because we always edit these down, get rid of the stuff that is ahead. All right, so let's go ahead and get this underway. I'm going to go ahead and come back over here. Got so much to go through. All right, let's do this. Greetings, one and all. Chris Courtney here, New Pragmatics. Time for the feedback loop. So good to have you back. It is a lovely Monday here, and we've got quite a bit of stuff to look at. Bryn has really been locking in on this fresh market project she's working on, and it's kind of interesting because the fresh market project, I released it in 2019 prior to the pandemic. It was a grocery delivery project gist. That's the gist of it. And it kind of fell right in line with the whole movement of, hey, maybe you should get that delivered instead of going into a crowded store because of COVID. So it's one of these things that's kind of morphed naturally. There will be some new prompts that I'm going to be releasing in coming weeks. So for new projects, the goal here is to have 4 new projects by June 1 is the target. So 4 new projects by June 1. And these would be all building off the curriculum that already exists inside of New Pragmatic. So the UX program, the UI program, career, front end, all of that would be utilized in these new prompts that are going to be released. So I'm super excited to get further along in that process, because we do have a number of prompts that were really COVID specific, and I want to begin to migrate away from those. Not saying that we're out of the pandemic yet, but we hopefully are nearing the some sort of return to normalcy. How about that? I think that's pretty fair, right? But we've got Bryn's work, and she's working through user stories, round 2, and user flows. I'm super excited to get into those. And then Abraham is back, and Abraham's working on some client work. So I'm always excited to look at what you're doing professionally as designers, and Abraham has submitted some work there as well. If you are wondering about mentorship as we head into this transition, I want you to listen to what my good friends here at New Pragmatic have to say about working with me. And that's when the edit will do a transition, but I'm going to go ahead and transition my screen so we can get started. All right, so here we have Bryn's updated user stories for Fresh Market. And Bryn, I really like what you've done here. You've almost set this up as if this is an epic. So your shopping process here, you have search, browse results, add cart, modify cart, checkout, and there's these subtasks that are all like Okay, so I need to create an account. I need to sign in. And the way this is framing, I think if you go to story mapping, what you'll see in story mapping is something that feels a lot like this. Um, Now, obviously, you've already started kind of nailing down like what priority is. I'm not sure what the color coding is that's going on over here because you have some green, some purple, and some that are just black and white. So I'm not sure what's going on there. One thing I do want to do though is you have a number, like you have a deep set of user stories here. I want to go ahead and lock this down. So let's. Sorry, I don't think I can do it that way. I think I got to go up here to view freeze. I'm going to freeze one row, and that means that we can now scroll that. It's just super. It's a lot easier because when I'm going through and reading these user stories, I'm paying less attention to these first three. Those are helpful for you, but I'm really focused on these final three columns. This is more of the traditional user stories. And, you know, we could sit here and sort this list. If I sorted it from A to Z, it's probably just going to lock in on as a foodie, and then it'll come down to as a foodie, comma, as a health conscious user. So, you know, so we've kind of sorted these. We can come back and actually sort these another way, but I will undo that just so we can keep your process task over there sorted out. The big thing that I'm typically looking at though is, are these actionable? You have goal as trying to make it actionable. I'm less concerned about the goal being actionable. I'm more concerned with the task being actionable. What about this task that you've written, can I actually act on it? So I need to be able to search for grocery terms. So you're telling me that, okay, this has to have search. Great. I need to be able to browse food categories. So food categories, that could be that could be like a drop down. So it's, you know, browse food categories. I need to be able to filter by food categories. Regardless, I can make the leap to what that actually would be. And you over here in your goal, you say, so I can see all the options available to me. So that tells me there's a predefined set of options that I need to be able to select from. I need pre-made meal options. So here I'm going to again have, you know, in food categories, I might have pre-made meals. Like that's just a category. I need to be able to narrow down my options. So narrowing down, that is one that I think needs a little more refinement. Narrow down how, because one thing could be, you know, there's a number of different ways that you could narrow down. You get into some of that later. It's like I need pricing filters, I need dietary filters, I need filters for on sale items. So here is how you narrow down. So maybe that user story isn't necessary at all, because the narrowing, you then go on to further distill. And that's the big thing here, is to understand that some user stories that you write won't necessarily live past the initial first cut. Like, you know, if I look at, I need to narrow down my options, and then I follow it with like 10 different ways to narrow down options, I've then rendered that user story basically useless, because I've already replaced it with something better. It is more of an epic, and when I say epic, I mean if I came over and I need to narrow down my options, browse results is really your epic, and you know, narrowing options under browse results is fine. What you're saying here is that I'm going to narrow down my options from search. So I'm going to search, and that's going to give me some results, and that's how I'm going to narrow down my options. My other thing that I would say is, if you have a menu or a list of items that is just available to people inside of your project, then you may narrow down options that have not been searched against. So that's another thing to look at there. But overall, as I go through these, I see a very deep set of user stories that I need to be able to adjust quantity. I need to be able to see pricing per item. I need to see what items are on sale. I need to be able to add items to the shopping cart. I need to see a summary of what has been added to the shopping cart. I need to be able to add to the shopping cart. Subtotal for the shopping cart. Every step along the way, it's either I need to see this on screen or I need to be able to perform this action. All right? These are all really solid user stories. Not a lot of ambiguous user stories that I can't take action on. So good job there. I really like the distillation. The only thing I would say is you want to make sure to freeze that top row so that as you hand this off and as somebody comes in from your team, they're not getting lost and unable to see how this is organized. That's a very minor thing though. And I'm just kind of going through. I need confirmation. I need email confirmation. I need outstanding order to appear in my account history as pending. I need to modify the order. I need these are all really strong. I need to be able to restart, pause subscription. I need to cancel a subscription. I need to cancel my subscribed baskets. I need to be able to create an account. And some of these, that's the other question I'll get on these is like, do these need to be in some sort of order? And honestly, no. I don't think that I don't think at this stage they have to be in an order. Now, as you get into your user flows, you'll definitely, one thing will have to be present for another thing to occur, but they can be separate flows. But as well as I do, like, I can't place an order unless I've created an account. So there is some natural realignment that'll happen here. But as it comes out of your head, the only thing that I emphasize for students and for anybody that's doing user stories is ask yourself, and this is a great way to write user stories. Okay, I've got this user story in front of me. What else has to be true for me to actually do this thing? And in many cases, like, oh, I need an account. Okay, does anything need to be true for me to have an account? No, I just need to be able to create an account, and I need to be able to confirm that I set up the account. Oh, so I need a confirmation email. Okay, does anything else have to be present? No. Okay, and that all ties back to I need to place an order. Okay, so what has to happen then? Well, I need to be able to put items in a shopping cart. Okay, well, what has to happen for you to put items in a shopping cart? I need to be able to see a list of items. Okay, great. What else? What else has to happen? So there's this fallback. You can go all the way to the end of the process and work your way back on things that you need to have for something downstream to be actionable. So, all that said, I wholly bless this. I think this is a great second cut. It's not your first cut. This is second cut. Let's go into your flow map though. This is rubber meets the road here. All right, and this is really where your project begins to take shape. So I need to be able to set recurring orders for commonly purchased items. So she's setting up basically a true subscription program. I've got these things and I want them to come to me at a regular basis. All right, so user finishes shopping and clicks the checkout button. User is shown a summary of the order. She has subscription options, and the user selects create item subscription, or user selects create basket subscription. So I'm guessing that the user could also just check out, or they would see the subscription options. Either way, it's not a big deal. I get what's going on here. Under create basket subscription, there's a couple more options. So now I have to say, okay, I want the entire order, or I want to select multiple items within this order. All right. Or I can select an individual item, and then I go to the frequency options. Here I have a decision to make: preset, weekly, every 2 weeks, or custom schedule. I want it on Tuesday and Thursday. Frequency, select frequency, and and then confirm schedule. I can accept it, I can modify it, which modify it takes me back to frequency options, or I can cancel it, which takes me back to order summary. Or I can confirm the next delivery date and then check out. So that makes a lot of sense. I don't see a ton of now. The only thing I would say is, like, there should be a I'm showing a summary of the order. I can check out or add. One would be I can just go straight to checkout, or I can go in the subscription options. But the task here is simply I need to be able to set recurring orders for commonly purchased items from checkout. So this is saying that I have decided that I want to set up subscription options, not that I'm now going through checkout. I like this sounds like I'm in checkout, and then I've said set up recurring order. I've like clicked the button. So this all makes sense to me. Let's go down here and take a look at this one. I need to be able to set recurring orders for commonly purchased items. Order history. Okay, so this is saying I'm going to be doing this from a different area in the application. So the area up here was I have items in a basket and I'm about to check out. This one here is I have items that I've purchased in the past, and now I'm going to go through order history. So I'm looking at my orders. I'm gonna user clicks create subscription. Here are my options: basket, item. This is basically the inverse display of what we saw a minute ago. Frequency, accept, modify, cancel, confirmation, and then it drops you off at my subscriptions. So here, these are two different things, and this is important. It might not necessarily seem important, but the big thrust here is I need to set up the big thrust for the stakeholder is I need recurring revenue. I need to encourage recurring revenue, not just I need to fill a basket full of things and hit deliver this to me. I need this to be happening at some sort of frequency. So this is why she's spending time to set up recurring through the checkout. Set up recurring through order history. What else we got here? I need to be able to adjust frequency for my subscriptions. So she's spending some time. She's spending a lot of time here focused on the main thrust of the stakeholder, and the main thrust of the stakeholder is recurring revenue. So with that said, user goes to my subscription. User's shown a list of active subscriptions. Here's the subscription type. User selects item subscriptions or basket subscriptions. I'm interested in this. Like I'm just thinking to myself, okay, how many subscriptions is a particular user going to have? Is it really like I am interested in like that setup. I'm not necessarily sure they have to be two. Because if I see active subscriptions, it seems like I would see a list of my subscriptions, regardless of type. I would select an item. I would select a particular active subscription, and then I would edit the frequency options. And so this piece is where I'm clearly struggling a little bit, because I'm up here. I see the list, and then I feel like I've got to select something from the list, not necessarily make a decision about subscription type. It feels like my subscriptions. I go to the list. I say, oh, I'm going to edit that one, and then I get the list, and I could see edit item, edit entire order, or edit basket, and then I get to other pieces. But it feels like something is something's needing to happen here to get me to order details. Like, here's my subscriptions. Here's my here. Okay, so I go to my subscriptions. Here's my list. I click on one of them. Here's the details of that. I edit the order, regardless of whether it's an individual item or a basket, and then I get all my options to edit from there. So again, there's something right here. Now, this downstream stuff could all still be valid, and it's basically modeling off of the things that you've done before. But I think you've got to. I think you have to select an order, view order details, or edit order details, and then you go. I need to pause active subscriptions. So again, user shown. Here's my subscriptions. I select active subscriptions. Here's a list. I need to select the active subscription that I want to edit, or do I need to pause all? Maybe I'm going on vacation. I don't want any, like, if I've got 3 subscriptions, do I have to go into each one and individually edit, or can I just say pause all? So, again, most of what you have is pretty standard. Like here you have change status, pause subscription or cancel, confirmation, return to my subscriptions. There still seems to be this idea of I've got my list. I need to select one, and then make determinations from there. Restart. We'll skip over that one because I think we've kind of beat that into the ground. I need add-on suggestions. Okay, so existing. I'm on the home page. I search for peanut butter. I add peanut butter to the cart. I get some sort of, would you also like? No, continue shopping. View. Or I can go no, just check out, or view. If I say no, continue shopping, I go back to my search view or my list view, whatever. I could also go back to cart. Here, view, add-on options, pairing based, category based, purchase history based. So here is, I've got peanut butter, so I might want jelly. Here it is, I've got peanut butter, so I might want some other option, other type of, have you considered the chunky or whatever? And then purchase based is like, oh, this is in the breakfast category and you've previously purchased Lucky Charms. Has nothing to do with peanut butter. Add-on, yes, no. Add the shopping cart. Return to home page. Okay. So I get that. That one feels fairly straightforward. I think mostly the biggest thing that I'm seeing here, Brent, is on the items where you're editing or modifying. There's a list of things. I need to select something from that list. How I get from the selection of an individual item or detail of a basket to the editing of a particular aspect, I think that needs more work. What happens once you get there, I think, is fine. I mean, it's basically the same sort of function that's happening over and over and over again, and that's okay because you don't want your user to have to relearn all of these steps to do a task you don't want 8 different ways to do the same basic task. So I think that from that perspective of frequency and quantity and whatnot, that's all fine. But it's how do you get to the individual item, or how do you edit the group? Like, that piece feels less. That piece feels not. It feels like it's missing right now. So there's like a shiv. You need to shiv some action into these, so that it's a bit more connected to. Okay, so I've started. I've got this middle process that's missing, but once I figured out that selection, then here are the things that I can do to it. That selection piece feels like it's missing right now. All right, and then Abraham has a edit here where he's working through, and I want to read this. Allow management to view scenes as people who work for them would see them. In this example, we've got a nurse. The head nurse is here, so she's the team lead, and she wants to switch. She wants to switch to a nurse view if she's low on staff. So, so if she's running behind, she wants to see what her nurses would see, or if she so she's got a player coach. She's got to jump in and do part of the job here. Would you feedback on the design and how it can be improved? Okay, so one question I've got here is the big difference between the two seems to be one, you can see when they're okay, so I'm active. Here's what I am. I'm viewing as a regular nurse, so a care coordinator. I have these notifications. That appears to be the only thing that's changed. There's no tab changes. There's no other view changes aside from notifications. So it's like a typical nurse only. The only difference here, it seems, is that the typical nurse doesn't have notifications, but a nurse lead would, and then the head nurse viewing the system as a regular nurse would also still have the notifications. I don't see anything else here that has changed. So I'm not necessarily sure what's happening with those notifications, why a regular nurse doesn't get them. I'm guessing that they are system level notifications, and that's why the head nurse wouldn't see them. Yeah, I struggle to think about how this would be improved because I feel like I'm lacking some context. I mean, it's fine. Like you're identifying that the head nurse is viewing this as a care coordinator. I think that's fine. But the idea that, are these notifications sufficient? Does the nurse have access to different parts of the system than the head nurse does? I can't tell from here. So to improve it, I would need to know more about that piece of it. Otherwise, I mean, it's fine. It's got here. I can see where notifications are. I can see that I'm in a different view because my title has changed. Should it say care coordinator? Should it say admin view, team member view? Would that be helpful? I'm not sure. But without the context of what's happening elsewhere, it just kind of looks like, okay, you're identifying that you've switched users, but one user who is the team lead here has access to things that the other user, the regular nurse, does not. Aside from that, I don't see a lot of change. I don't necessarily care for the alternative design here, to be honest, because I feel like it's constricting the space that you have to work with. So it's like now I've got to have extra space outside of that arrow because of the the desire to put this in a capsule. I just don't think it adds a lot. I think just being able to cleanly touch that and have it go to a clean edge is fine. But that's all I really got to add there. If there's something else going on the page then maybe there's an adjustment that needs to be made. But from what I'm looking at, it appears to be fine. Um, all right, so that's gonna do it for today's edition of the Feedback Loop. Bren, great, great second effort on the user stories, and a really solid start to the user flows. User flows, I think, are oftentimes a challenge because it's hard to really see, how granular do I need to be. But I do think that there are issues that come up when you're communicating with other members on your team, when you skip over things that might in your head seem obvious. It's like, oh, well, of course you're selecting something for the list. I need to see that. I need to see that step in the process, because otherwise it's like, oh, here's a list of things and I'm just going to edit all of them. And it's like, well, no, I want to edit one of them. Yeah, like you got to be declarative about what exactly you want to have happen. And right now, it's just like we need the level of detail to just go up a notch on the user flows. But the user stories took a dramatic step forward. I think you did a really good job on that. And then Abraham, it's more about context. I think what you have is fine, but just being able to, is that, am I seeing it as you have it, or is there other things missing because I'm only seeing a sliver of it? But that said, I appreciate all of you submitting work today. Join us back again tomorrow. We'll do it again. We'll roll it all back up, and it's going to be a wonderful week. I hope that you are all ready for it. And if you are interested, if you're wondering about the new prompts that are coming, let me know. What are the types of projects that you're interested in tackling? Would love to know more from you on that item. All right, I'm Chris Courtney for New Pragmatic. Thanks for watching.